Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 2 versus 2 on Carpiquet, and this is the Duellists version of this map. So in the latest update they added 2 maps, the St. Mericles one, which I showed you guys yesterday, and the Carpiquet one today. So this should be a pretty fun one. I'm going to be playing my least favourite Axis deck, which is the 116th Panzer, and Val's going to be playing with the 352nd Infantry. We're playing against Legio and San, who are using the 15th Infantry Scots Division and 2nd Infantry US Division, respectively. So this is a map that I would say generally favours the Axis, especially if they use certain divisions. However, because this is so open, it does encourage a lot of artillery, a lot of AT guns, and the 116th, they just suck against AT guns. They really do. And you can be punished very, very hard, and that's why I just don't like the 116th. The tanks are too brittle. But in this one, I'm going to be bringing it to you and playing a game with it once in a while, because it's not often that I do. So either way, I'm going to be taking the left side, Val's going to be taking the right. The reason we chose those positions was because basically he's going to be holding the bunkers here with his infantry, and he can fire across the open here into these bunkers with his IG-18s and so on. He's also going to be helping hold the centre hangars there, whilst I'm pushing on the left side where it's even more open. There are obviously still bunkers here, but they're a bit more spread out, so that kind of works in my favour a little more. My composition of forces that I'm going to be putting down, I'll talk about after we start, because it was quite interesting to see how I deployed for this map specifically. So I'll go over that in a second. But before we do, I just want to say this is going to be a replay commentary. So this isn't live like the other videos I've been doing recently. I will try and do more live gameplays. They are obviously easier for me to make in the sense that if I'm just recording while I'm playing, then I can edit them quickly and upload them. But I kind of feel like sometimes a replay commentary is just like so much more informative, especially when it comes to talking about specific maps, about specific strategies. There's a lot more I can do in a replay commentary, on the commentary anyway, than I can do on a live commentary, because if I'm in a live commentary and I'm playing with other people, I'm generally talking to the other people than about the game itself. If I'm on my own doing a live commentary, then it's a lot more informative again, but that doesn't happen particularly often because I don't jump into random games like all that often. Either way, let's have a quick look at the units I'm bringing up. So a couple of MGs, they are just to take up strategic positions. I'm going to be whacking one in this hangar, and I think I was trying to get one further up into these bunkers if I could. I wasn't entirely sure how fast I would be able to get there, so I just thought I'd risk it, try out the map a little, see how far I could actually push my vehicles before they started being fired upon. And I've got one Panzer 3M and a 232 to make that 3-star. Then I've got the units of spare troop, so I've got multiple 251 half tracks with the spare troop, and I'm spreading those out. I'm actually starting with 4 squads. That's something that is very uncommon for me. I don't tend to actually start with recon very often. A lot of maps you can get away with not using recon from the start of the game, and I generally bring it in after like the first minute or two. But in this case, it's very important to know what the enemy are doing because there is so much open ground. So let's show you where my troops are going. Spread out quite nicely. I've got a recon squad going to the center. I've got a recon squad going for this bush here. We've got the MG that's driving all the way up this road and round to the bunkers. We've got MG obviously to this hangar. I've got an AT gun going to this tree, or these trees here. I've got my vehicles, my 232 and the Panzer 3. They're going to be sitting just here so I can micromanage them forward safely. And then I also have another recon squad walking to these trees, and a recon squad for the far left side. Let's put it to my point of view so we can talk about exactly what happens throughout the game. Over on the right side, Val's going to be employing the help of IG-18s. You guys know my love for those now, and he's got a couple of MGs here It's also got a Panzer squad there, and of course the command infantry. I don't actually have any command infantry on my division in Phase A. I rely solely on 232s. So in this case, the MG42 isn't going to be getting any veterancy for now, but we are pushing a +1 for a short amount of time, making a little bit of ground, especially in the centre. But my half-track is going to be bailed out, and before that gets destroyed, I unload the MG42. So of course I probably should have expected this, but 2 AT guns already on the field and these units are completely useless. Fantastic. Great start for me. Now this was inevitable to happen on this map. They're using a combination of the Churchill and the 6-pounders. It's a really, really nice combination just for controlling the front line in these open spaces. And over on the right side we've also got another Churchill 5 alongside M1 guns and so on. So it's very AT heavy. If I go to the neutral perspective, we can see the AT gun on the far right. We've got an AT gun here, we've got an AT gun there, and an AT gun there. So 4 AT guns in total so far. Going to be seeing my Pak 38 opening up onto this command carrier. However, that has no veterancy. So I would have liked to have moved up my 232, and I probably would have if this 6-pounder wasn't here, because that 6-pounder 2-star was firing at my APC earlier, the half-track, and therefore I knew not to send my 232 to make that up-vetted. So what I'm going to have to do here is bring in my mortar, and meanwhile my opponent Legion here, or Legio, is going to be using fire position onto my Pak 38, which is a really good idea. He knows it's there, you can't see it, but you can still take it out of fire position thanks to the HE value of the Churchill 5, and you can see that has gone ahead and killed my AT gun, so that's really, really annoying. Over on the right side, 3-star Ranger Mortar going to be pinning down the IG-18. In the centre I'm trying to make a little bit of ground, 51% territory lead, because my 251 half-track is pushing a little gap in the centre. Got my mortar up now. That's going to be attempting to hit some infantry there. That's primarily brought up to deal with the AT guns, but until I can see them I can't really fire at them. So I'm trying to get my spear troop into a position whereby I can see these 6-pounders, and you can see Legia is putting them on return fire, which is making them much harder to see, because they won't just randomly fire at a half-track, for example. So knowing this AT gun's here, I can see this AT gun moving to the right. I'm going to move my Panzer III over to the left side with the 232 to counteract the Honey Stuart that's moving down over here alongside the MMG carrier. Now I wasn't sure if you saw me coming or not. You can actually have a look if we go to Legio's perspective. Yeah, you can see the Panzer III briefly there moving towards the left side to deal with his Honey. So he's going to be withdrawing that, and basically what's happening on this left side is there was like a dance going on. It was like a dance between my tanks and his tanks. His Honey's like moving back there. You know, I moved my Panzer III over from the right side to the left side to counteract that, and so on. It's just going to keep jumping backwards and forwards. But here we can see my spear troop are revealing a lot of his forces. I've also got the ones on the left there still doing the job. But now I can see this AT gun, I'm going to start firing at that. Over on the right side, Val's MGs are opening up. They're using these bunkers to try and hit these Ranger leaders, the Ranger mortars and so on. IG-18's trying to do a decent job there. Osttroopen are being pushed on by some rifles and are going to be forced to surrender. So Val's not having the best of times. And mortar here though, doing some serious damage to the 6-pounder. Pinned it down. Just got to try and get rid of it. Trouble is, Churchill 5 is going to be starting to fire at my 251. And I need something that's going to take out these AT guns a bit quicker. So here comes the Panzerwerfer. Now one thing I do like about this division, one of the very few things I love about this division, is you can get 2 Panzerwerfers in Phase A. And that can be extremely fun. So in this case I've brought it up to deal with the 6-pounders specifically. and basically any AT guns I come across throughout the game, because they kill them so quickly. Like as soon as a rocket lands on top of them, they die, and that's exactly what I'm looking for here, to kind of make some ground towards my opponents. So meanwhile, brought up another Panzer 3M to join my other one. So we've got two 3-star Panzer 3Ms here, assisted by the 232, and they're going to be moving up to try and deal with the Churchill 5. If they can get shots on, they should have a decent penetration chance. It's not going to be like terribly high. It'll probably be actually like 16% and 10 to 9 AP, or 9 armor there, 10 AP. Yeah, probably about 16% penetration chance, but with 3-star accuracy, they should be able to do it in time. Either way, here comes the Panzerwerfer. Panzer 3s are going to be opening up on the MMG carrier. Any kills are kills, so just going for that where I can with the attack move. And here go the rockets onto the 6-pounder. Boom. Goodbye 6-pounder. So the idea of most units is just like making them so they pay off. And in this case, a Panzerwerfer is worth 120 points, right? Killing the AT gun is 60 points. So I need to kill another one, and my Panzerwerfer's paid itself off. Also, it's useful for other things. Here you can see I'm using the last 2 rockets to hit this tree line where I saw the rifles earlier. Unfortunately, the rockets don't exactly hit the mark, but it was worth a try. Over on this left side, Honey Stewart's coming round for the flanking attempt onto my Panzer 3s, but both Panzer 3s hit, 1 bounces, 1 transmission damage, second shots do not miss, and the Honey Stewart goes down. So that's the first sort of major engagement we got going on here. If I go to the neutral perspective, however, 6-pounders lying in wait. I'm moving forwards my Panzer 3s. I was pretty sure that he only had 2 AT guns, but he's since reinforced with more. So this AT gun right here is waiting to attack. It's just rotating. First shot kills off one of my Panzer 3s. I was convinced he had this on return fire because it was taking him so long to fire. But eventually he did, and well, he's going to start taking out all of my units. 232 is transmission damage. I've already lost a Panzer 3. That goes down. Here we go. 2-star veterancy. Going to take 3rd shot. Boom goes the Panzer 3. And this is the massive problem with the 116th Panzer. I basically said they were brittle. I was going to record this live, and the live commentary was great with myself and Val. But what happened was the sound cut out just like randomly halfway through the game. So bear that in mind as we continue, because there was many times where I couldn't even hear what was going on across the map. And there's a lot of sound cues, especially to do with like aircraft, for example, the sirens. And just the sound of like losing a unit and it popping up. Like those sounds I've got really used to in the game, and without sound at all it was actually quite hard to play the game. Either way, 6-pounder moving over to the tree line here. I was trying to hit it with the mortar briefly, but wasn't particularly having much luck. The mortars aren't half as effective as Panzerwerfers, so what do you know, I have a second Panzerwerfer on the field. And I'm going to be using both of those in conjunction to wipe out these AT guns. But first of all, I'm going to need some recon to spot them. So although I have this recon squad on the left side, I'm going to need more to like move forwards with any tanks that I bring up. Because what's happened right now is I lost my primary force. Panzer 3s are burning all over the place. The 2 Panzer 3s are 110 points each. The command car there is like 45. So that was a solid amount of points claimed by the 6-pounder, and that's a big issue. So what I need to do is get like a recon squad to be able to look across this field and spot this AT gun on the left side, and then any other AT guns that might become a threat. And then I can be confident again to try and make an armored push. Like before, I felt confident because I'd already killed their AT gun, but they brought up more in the meantime, and that really caught me off guard. So what's happening here is Panzerwerfer is aiming away, going to be firing for the 6-pounder there. You can see the rockets going all over the place, but one does land directly on target, which is very nice. Another one going for the right side 6-pounder. I go to my perspective, I had spotted that sooner with the spear troop, so both 6-pounders down now on the left side, which is great. Exactly what I'm looking for. Allows me to move forwards with armor. I've got to be careful though still working with 20mm autocannons rather than actually heavier tanks, so that's a bit of a problem. Over on this right side, Val's not having the best of times. He's being pushed back very hard by a combined arms push of San, and I've been working with Val here, bringing up my munitions truck to help resupply his 120mm mortar. They've been hit very, very hard so far, and the M4 is not stopping anytime soon, but Val's going to be bringing up a Pack 40. That's not going to hit first time, it's got no veterancy, but definitely has plenty of chances to take that shot before it moves out of range. Because currently, I think it's just about move out range, so third shot possibly, no. Pack 40 is out of range, so Stug 3, that might do the job. And he's getting more infantry up to reinforce here. So meanwhile on the left side, Honey Stuarts are rushing me, and this is quite a good idea because I'm pretty sure he knows that I don't have too many tanks left. We just moved into phase B, so it would take me a while to get like any Panzer IVs on the field, and that's pretty much all you can bring in as the 116th Panzer, is just Panzer IVs in phase B. So what I got to do is just keep these half tracks hidden. Maybe not this one because it would actually provided quite nice bait, and in the meantime just wait for my new Panzer IIIs to arrive. I kind of saved so that I can bring them all in at once, especially with this Panzer III command tank, and that's going to give me a good opportunity to take on these Honeys. Now this 232 actually manages to break the tracks of one of the Honeys. The Honey does take out my mortar half track, which wasn't ideal. Definitely should have moved that half track away and not let it get killed like that, but in the end it didn't matter. Panzer IIIs are now able to shoot onto the Honey Stuart with its tracks broken. No, that's going to be very, very easy. 232 even moving out to try and get a shot there. Just waiting for this Honey to sort of move towards my 232 so I can shoot that in the sidearm or just get shots on very close. Spear Trooper waiting to open up on the rifles, but I don't want to do that yet because the Churchill 5 will be able to shoot at me. So Legio is going to be pushing my 232 with his Sherman, or with his Stuart, but the Stuart here going to be bailed out immediately. The beauty of autocannons at close range. They really do a lot of damage, and I even get the kill there with the 232. This 2341 is also helping out by taking on the MMG carrier and the infantry trying to push me in the open. We are being pushed briefly in the middle with like a couple rifle squads, which did take out Val's Fusiliers that were there. Having a little bit of an issue here as Spitfire does shoot down one plane, and Val's trying to use a little bit of an air force now, but he's having a bit of trouble. So we're talking about, you know, trying to take back control of the air at this point, and also the fact that we are losing by 55%. You know, there's +1 in the opponent's favour, and they have gone over our score of 232 points. So we're not in the best of positions right now. We're being pushed very hard. Our opponents have a nice composition of Churchill 5s and these AT guns. I took out the 2 AT guns on the left side, but I didn't have anything really to push them with. P-47 Thunderbolt's going to be coming in. That's going to be finally finishing off the 120mm mortar of Val's. Panzer Grenadiers were unfortunately right next to them at the time and do get pinned down and damaged. Upper Blitz is now free though. Panzerwerfers is going to be coming in here, hitting the machine gun hard there. Was trying to kill off the duck as well, but that's going to manage to get away. So MG42s are opening up onto the rifles in the centre. Got them there waiting to do the damage. Actually that's the Val's MGs, sorry. Confusing myself when I clicked on the wrong button. But yeah, MG42s either way, going to be pinning down those rifles, and you can see Thunderbolts now flying around from San. Not too much we can do about that. So here comes some Nebelwerfers. We're going to be seeing another Thunderbolt come in from San onto Val's Grenführers. I'm going to be bringing up my ME-109. I'm going to be starting a dogfight here, so My 2-star ME-109 should be enough to deal with Thunderbolts, but the trouble is with this engagement, something I didn't really sort of look into, was how much AA our opponents had, and in this case the Bofors was doing a lot of morale damage to Val's ME-109 and my own ME-109. So eventually what ends up happening is San sort of gives up on this engagement. I use that as well to get out of there, because I know that if I'm try and follow him, I'll just get stunned by his AA, so there was no particular point, and I didn't want any extra aircraft to come in near their spawn and do damage. So yeah, just decided to get my ME-109 out of there, and we managed to survive that engagement, which was good. In the centre though, AT gun pushing with the rifles is going to take out my half-track. That's actually caused a little bit of a bubble in the middle here, and we're currently losing by 56%. One of my half-tracks does get taken out. We're pushing onto the AVRE. I'm looking for some side shots here from my Panzer 3s. We are going to be just bouncing the majority of those. 17-pounders are now moving up, are being spotted by the combination of the spare troop and the 2-3-4-1. So I know these guys are coming, and I've got to get away from them. So you'll see me here start to move all of my units just away from these 17-pounders. That's a lot of invested points by our opponent, so I'm just going to avoid that the best I can. Meanwhile on the right side, Panzer Grenadiers are trying to help hold. We've got Panzerwerfers here being reloaded by Val's Opel Blitz, and we're going to be seeing Val's ME-109G0 take on this Thunderbolt. So it's going for the kill there. If he can get it, great job, and he does. One of the Thunderbolts down. Spitfire Mark 9 is in the air. My ME-109 is going to get hit very hard by the Bofors as I go for that engagement, and it allows a Spitfire Mark 9 to get on my tail. Now this wasn't ideal because my ME-109 actually evac towards the corner of the map, and it meant when it turned it allowed the Spitfire to get on its tail rather than outrunning it like it normally would, so that was a shame. Lose that ME-109 unnecessarily. Really poor engagement. Anyway, spear troop still hiding here. Weapon damage from the Pak-38 does deal with the MMG carrier. Bringing up some reinforcements. These guys are just going to take control of the bunkers and the hangars here in the center. And then what we've got to think about doing is making another hole so we can gain back the territory. So what you'll see happening is I'm moving all of my Panzer 3s and the 2-3-4-1s over to the middle of the map, waiting to take out the AT guns with my Panzerwerfers, and then I can push on through with my armor superiority. Over on the left side, small engagement between Panzer Grenadiers and rifles. Going to be taking out those rifles that killed off my spear troop earlier. Spitfires are going to be joining that engagement with their strafing runs. So yeah, it's still pretty much a dance on my side. Not particularly too much going on. There has been the back and forth between the Honey Stuarts and my Panzer 3s. But now what I'm trying to do is swing all of my forces over to the middle, where I can make a concerted effort against these rifles and 6-pounders in a solid counter-offensive. Going to be seeing Val's Focke-Wulf 190 get hit very hard there. And what's going to happen here, San is actually going to evac his Thunderbolts in front of my ME-109. This is a 2-star ME-109. This thing does not miss very often, and one Thunderbolt goes down. I'm on the tail of a second Thunderbolt, and goodbye to those two fighters. So he basically avenges his brother in arms, the previous ME-109, to get shot down, and that's eventually going to be forced to fall back due to the MGMC and the Bofors here, but done his job. Panzerwerfers opening up. Oh, look at this lovely strike. Bedford trucks being hit very hard as they try and reinforce. That's a lot of rifles there being pinned down and damaged. Dingo's going to be forced back as well. We saw the Panzerwerfer here take out the 6-pounder on the runway, and that's leading the charge for my half-track and Panzer 3s to move on up. So that's what I'm going for here. I'm asking Val to move up his munitions truck to my Panzerwerfers, Although eventually what I do is decide that I need to move them after they've fired so they don't get hit by bombs and so on, because our opponents were enjoying the use of thunderbolts, and all I could see happening was a rocket thunderbolt coming in and just taking out my Panzerwerfers as soon as they could see them. But either way, Panzer III arrives, takes care of the MMG carrier there. Going to be seeing the MGs open up on this half track as well. Try and take on these rifles that are already being engaged by the MG42s of Val. Trying to be careful with this AVRE. I have been trying to dodge with the MG42. But what's going to happen? The AVRE is finally going to get the shot in there to take it down to 1 health. Second rifle squad goes down, and we're going to be creating another hole in the middle of the map. So, got my offensive on the go. 2341s, Panzer 3Ms, Panzer 3H. Off we go to the other side of the hangars. Or the other side of the airfield, sorry. So on the right side, Val's now brought up more IG-18s. He's engaging these MGs from range. Doing quite a good job at the moment as well, pinning all those down alongside the MG42s, and pretty much all of his forces. MG42s accompanied by IG-18s, just trying to control this swarm of infantry that's heading towards him. So over on the left side, we've got to get rid of these 17 pounders, so I'm going to be starting to bring in my first FW190 G1 with its bomb, and I've got an ME109 there strafing it as well. 2 Spitfire Mark 9s come in from Legio. Realises he's made a mistake, tries to get them out of there, but it's too late. ME109s and Focke-Wulf 190 is going to make short work of those Spitfires, and that's 2 more fighters down. That's very, very hard for the Allies to deal with at this point, because they just need those planes, right? If we get air superiority, then we're going to be in such a good place. But here we see the Ju-87 finishing off the AVRE, lovely jubbly. We've taken out both of the 17 pounders now on this side, thanks to the Focke-Wulf 190. We're going to be seeing the Ju-87 forcing the Churchill 5 to fall back, and all I've got to do now is deal with these Piat squads that are pushing me. The command carrier here and the rifles, but I do have the Pak 43 on station. Panzer Grenadiers are going to finish off that unit for me. Seeing the 2341 coming up, that's going to be getting some shots onto a Piat squad. And yeah, our air superiority right now is really paying off as Val continues to engage San on this right side. So Panzerwerfers are reloaded and ready to go. I tried to move across the field here, but what ended up happening was a 17 pounder came up and spoiled the fun, so another Panzer 3M going to be going down there. Panzer Grenadiers have bumped into the Piat squad, so just waiting for them to do the job. Seeing the Panzerwerfer fire off again, this is going for that 17 pounder. Waiting for that kill. So usually one volley would do the job, but in this case 17 pounder actually managing to stay alive until Val's MG42 finishes them off. There was a lot of cases in this game where my Panzerwerfers did a lot of work, like on that reinforcement road on the right side here, but didn't actually get credited many kills for it. That's something you gotta watch out for as we come towards the later game. But either way, as you may have noticed, we're not even winning at the moment. Our opponents are winning with 913 points. They did have the +1, we just brought it back to 50-50. So we're not bleeding any more points just now. Over on the right side, the off-map artillery is coming down onto Val's units. Thunderbolts now coming in to bomb the Osttruppen as well. And what you can see in the middle here, multiple Panzer Grenadiers coming up, I think these were, to assist the Panzer III as it moved forwards. With this recon squad moving ahead, I'm confident that there's not another AT gun. The AT gun obviously was killed by the MG42, and over on this left side entirely, there's literally no AT guns. I couldn't see like how empty this was from my point of view, even with all this recon here. But either way, just going to be sort of chilling on the left for the rest of the game. Bringing up just AT guns, got some Pak 43s. They're going to be dealing with the left side from now on. I'm going to be concerting my efforts in the middle, where all of these Panzer Grenadiers are coming up. So Panzer Grenadiers running across the open with the 251. Got the Panzer 3s moving up. The Panzerwerfers going to be hitting this building to allow me some space to move up. Over on the right side, well, Val's still trying to do the best he can with his Pak 40 MG42s, and he's just bringing up a spam of infantry there to join him on the front line. So Focke-Wulf 190 coming in again with the bomb. Going to be bombing the rifle squad there. It's going to be forced to fall back by these Bofors and Tripolstons. But that rifle squad is then destroyed. Now one thing that did happen here was these Panzer Grenadiers, I was trying to get this Opel Blitz to just fast move past the engagement and get into another building next to them, but what ended up happening is as they all went past each other, each Opel Blitz was being stunned in unison, and of course they are forced to drop out their units onto the field. So yeah, Panzer Grenadiers are going to get stunned up. Going to be bringing in a bomber for the right side. Just going to be trying to finish off another AT gun here. That's pretty much my job for the majority of the game, was just trying to finish off these AT guns. But in this case, the Focke-Wulf 190 is forced back by the Bofors and the MCs on the right side. So I've got a whole bunch of Panzer Grenadiers pushing forwards here. Now, some of you might ask why I'm not using smoke, and that's one, because I don't have a mortar to smoke with, but also just in general, what I want to be able to do is use the infantry as bait for the fire support to do the damage. That's what you have to do. And then as soon as you sort of stun the opposing units, you move up and capture them. So over on this right side, I actually managed to take out the xylophones here. 2 xylophones next to a duck with a Panzerwerfer. But what ends up happening is I don't get credited for those xylophone kills, and after that strike it actually causes San to leave. 232 is going to finish off the machine gun on the left side, and I'm starting to make some serious dents across the map. So if we jump to the neutral perspective, with that MG dying, we're really starting to gain a nice chunk of land on this left side. 56% territory lead. So what we want to do is push this to a +2 if we want to secure the victory. So that's really what we got to go for. More air engagements coming in from Val, trying to use these fighters to the best of his ability. But his focus was very much on these units on the right side, and he now has a Jagdpanther on the field. So that's going to help deal with the Rhino there. M5 guns attacking the IG-18. In the centre, Panzer 3 is going to be engine destroyed by the Crocodile. And I think the artillery got the kill. This Panzer 3 is going to be running down some rifles on the airfield. Going for that little kill and surrender there. 251 still trying to assist with these rifles near the hangars, as I'm continuing to push forwards with the Panzer Grens. Over on the left side, I completely forgot about this AT gun. I should have unloaded it ages ago, but it's fine. A couple of Honey Stuarts coming up to try and make a breach through my left flank. But with this Pak 43 here, I'm ready to receive them. Now I think what happened on the opposing side of things is they didn't realise that this hadn't untowed its gun. Otherwise I reckon if these Honeys came down they would have sort of targeted it sooner. But either way, it gives me plenty of time to react to that. Again, I must remind you guys I was playing without sound, so even though stuff was dying on the left side, most of the time I was focusing in the middle on the right. So you can see my Panzerwerfer going off again to try and kill off the M1 gun here, and I do manage to kill off that. Second Panzerwerfers all the way down here without any munitions left. But now what I'm going to do is actually use this resupply truck that's been stuck down there for a while, take my Panzerwerfer all the way back to it. And we're really starting to make some ground here. So 232's moved up with the Zostrup, and I've actually got 2 of them there alongside a Panzer IV. I've also got the Flampanzer rushing down these rifles. Now, 2nd Infantry rifles don't have a bazooka, so I'm pretty safe in this case to use a Flampanzer in the way I am. You've got to be careful of like AT guns or these M4 Shermans, but in general it's very easy for me to just roll up and flame these guys to death. It's a bit short-lived because I would have liked to have just sort of rode around and forced these guys to surrender all the time, but it didn't quite turn out so easily as it gets killed off by the M4A1. Now Command Churchill does take out my Panzer III, which wasn't fun. And in the middle, my Panzer Grenadiers are really starting to get depleted. So these guys have been pinned down forever as the rifles have been fighting them alongside the Crocodile and the Dingo there. But what's happening here is as soon as these Panzergrens die, there could be a lot of ground lost. And considering we were so close to 58% to get the +2 lead, we don't really want that to happen. So we either have to push really hard on the right or control the ground in the middle. So we hit the +2. Victory in 7 minutes for us. Typhoon is going to be forced to fall back by Val, and he's got the Focke-Wulf 190s ready to get on the tail of that. But yeah, we want to just maintain this +2, but it's going to be very hard. Either way, MU-109, they're going to be getting on the back of the Typhoon. That Typhoon did come in and take out my Pak 43 earlier, but it is going to get out of there. Last Panzer Grenadier squad does die on the airfield. And now what I'm doing is waiting for these Panzerwerfers to be resupplied so I can basically back up the push into this compound. This is like a barracks compound near the airfield. And we're going to be seeing my Panzer IV do a lot of work on this right side. Got another couple of Flampanzers coming up to deal with any infantry left in these buildings. Burn them out so damn quick. And if they don't have these Shermans in position, I'm going to have an absolute field day with their infantry, just burning them to pieces. Either way, on the left side, still trying to make a little bit of ground. You can see I'm moving occasionally some units over here. But in general, what we wanted to do was just prevent the middle from breaking through, so got a couple of Panzergrens in position, and then meanwhile just push really hard on the right. So there goes an M4 to the Jagdpanther, now bringing up the Flampanzers just in time to continue that push. So things going really well. Pak 43 is going to be helping out deal with the infantry here. What would have been nice is to hit the Bedford supply next to the Bofors, as it probably would have killed it off. That would have saved me a lot of punishment on these Panzer Grenadiers. But either way, more units coming down the road and unloading. Ju-87 is going to let us down with that kill onto the Crocodile. 232 is going to go down on the right side to these M4A1s, but here come the Flampanzers. We do make one unit surrender. Now I'm just pushing onto the others. Look at all that infantry there getting stunned and pinned down. It's fantastic. But the idea here is just to move forwards the Flampanzers, let them use their stabilizers to fire the napalm on the move, and then just basically force them to surrender. So this Flampanzer is going to be moving for the M5 gun. We've got the Flampanzer here moving up to take on these rifles as well. Panzer IVs try and engage the M4A1s and is going to win that engagement, which is great. And I've got another Panzer IV here to back us up. Now one thing you may notice, even though we're in phase C, as the 116th Panzer, I haven't brought in a single Panther yet, which is very odd for this division, but either way, it's working out relatively well right now. We've managed to secure the initiative on the right side, and now after pushing through this town area and me bringing up some reinforcing infantry, it's actually going to be incredibly hard for them to push back from that. And there's only 4 minutes left on the clock, so another plane going to be going down there. ME-109's waiting to help out alongside with my 2 Focke-Wulf 190 G1s, but those G1s are actually going for the double bombing strike onto the M5 gun here, trying to make that work. And after those bombs are dropped, well, they can go immediately for the P-47. P-47 is going to be shot down. My AT gun dies. We also managed to take out that command unit, and yeah, great stuff. So, Pioneers are engaging these rifles in the open, and it's very interesting how both sides used a lot of open infantry fighting in this game. It's not often you see like mass walls of infantry running across an airfield, but in this case I think it's necessary because a lot of the open ground insists on players using tanks and vehicles, and those are countered by AT guns, right? And yes, those vehicles, tanks and vehicles, counter infantry, but if you have the counter there already, the AT guns, then you don't necessarily have to be as scared. Well, what's happening here is Val's bringing up some Panzer 35Rs, but these things pootle along at a very slow rate, and it's also got a Pak 43, so that's going to be starting to hit some of the vehicles further up. On this right side, Focke-Wulf 190s are going to be getting out of there. Panzer IVs still firing away, and I'm still pushing up with my 232 Pioneers and my half tracks. Also got the Panzerwerfers waiting for their next assignment. Use them all over the place throughout this match to make a little bit of a difference. Take out the AT guns and get some pushes going. And while with these Panzer 35s coming up to deal with the rifles, I could actually continue the push on the left side. Now what I probably should have done here with these Panzergrenadiers is put them on to return fire so they didn't keep revealing themselves when they attacked the rifles, but that's not too bad. These Panzer 35s can now just ruin all of these units, and the +2 does mean that we have surpassed our opponent's victory score of 913 points. So we're doing well. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. Continuing the pushes where we can. Pak 43 is going to be hit pretty damn hard there. Panther Gs are now arriving. We're this deep into the game, and only just now have I bought a Panther. But for me, the Panzer IVs really did a decent job. We also saw the SBWs do a decent job, and the Panzerwerfers have been great, so it's no surprise that we're making ground here. Going to be watching that M8 go down in style to my Panzer IV. Now we've just got to take care of the M5 gun as well. We're waiting for a rocket to land on top of it. It does not. Get a little bit of damage though, so it's all up to the Panzer IV to finish that off. And we take out the M5 gun on the left side, just got to take out the one on the right, and that will be job done. Over on this left side, Panther G engaging the Tripolston. This Grenadier squad still suiciding at this point in the game, which was absolutely tragic, but there we go, they finally go down. Opel Blitz munitions help finish off the resupply of the Nebelwerfers here that Val's been waiting to use. But 10 seconds left on the clock. I think you guys can tell the outcome, as we are at a 64% territory lead. Really, really great game. So, after 40 minutes exactly, myself and Val are victorious on the Carpiquet Duellists map. And yeah, it was a really nice one. 3,140 kills to 2,045 losses for myself. Not the best kill to loss in the game, but the Panzerwerfers, they were missing out on a lot of environmental kills, and like friendly fire kills that were popping up, especially with those 2 xylophones that died to the duck. I should have been credited those kills, but if we jump over to the kills, you can see I was credited for the duck kill, but not the units next to it, not the xylophone. So that was a shame. But either way, Panzerwerfers doing their job, getting the 6-pounder kills there. Also got 2 more 6-pounders and an M1 gun with the Panzerwerfers. Panzer 3 took out a honey, not paying itself off at all. 232 did a decent job, taking out a honey as well. Another honey there with the Panzer 3M. This one took out an MMG carrying rifles. So all of my tanks, all of my Panzer 3s at least, not paying themselves off at all. This one probably did the best. This is just a Befehl Panzer 3, the 90.1. 2 MMG carries, 2 rifle squads, and a Vickers HMG isn't bad at all. This ME-109 took out a 17-pounder, 2 P-47 Thunderbolts. Actually, let's make that 3 P-47 Thunderbolts. Nice job. Pack 43 took out the Churchill 5 finally, and you can see these Focke-Wulf 190s taking out all of the AT guns as well. So with all these AT gun kills all over the place, you can see exactly how AT focused this map is. Befehl Panzer, sorry, taking the M4A1 kills alongside a couple of M5 guns and an M8, which is nice. And this one took the M3 command kills, the Ranger Marauders and the rifles. Panther G at the end picked up a few kills, but nothing too substantial. So there you have it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this replay. I mean, I will be trying to do more live commentary. I see your comments all the time, and I know some of you guys love the live commentary, so I'll try and do more of it where I can. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.